आज जो दिन है ये एक जेंटलमैन का दिन है। एक जेंटलमैन जिसने क्रिकेट के जेंटलमैन्स गेम के परिभाषा को पूर्ण किया, द ग्रेट राहुल द्रविड़। और इनको हम कितना भी शब्दों में बांधने की कोशिश करें, ये एक यूनिक पर्सन है। अब बात ये आता है कि हमारे हम लोग जो प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हैं, इसमें हम लोग राहुल द्रविड़ से क्या सीख सकते हैं। राहुल द्रविड़ जो जाने जाते हैं वो कंसिस्टेंसी के लिए और पार्टनरशिप के लिए जाने जाते हैं। बहुत ज़्यादा धैर्य था इनके पास, लंबी इनिंग्स खेलते थे, पार्टनरशिप बहुत अच्छा करते थे। और हमारे प्रिपरेशन के लिए भी ये 3 चीज़ बहुत ज़रूरी होती है। धैर्य रखना, लंबा प्रैक्टिस करना रहता है, लंबा पढ़ाई करना रहता है, पार्टनरशिप आपके बुक के साथ बने। इस वीडियो में हम लोग राहुल द्रविड़ को सुनेंगे कैसे वो इसे कर पाते हैं। पढ़ाई और इस तरह के वीडियोस जो आपको पढ़ाई के लिए बूस्ट करे, इसके लिए आप चैनल को कर लीजिए सब्सक्राइब, जुड़ जाइए हमसे और हम बनाएंगे आपके प्रिपरेशन को और भी बेहतर। ये एक गुड न्यूज़ है कि हमें टॉप 3 एडुकेटर्स में चुना गया है। पूरे भारत के टॉप 3 एडुकेटर्स से हैं हम लोग। अगर आप अपने इस सक्सेस के टारगेट को अचीव करने के लिए कोई एक अच्छा पार्टनर ढूंढ रहे हैं, तो आप जुड़ सकते हैं हमसे स्क्रीन पर दिए गए नंबर के ज़रिए, या फिर हमारे ऐप को भी आप डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं प्ले स्टोर से। ब्रिज एकेडमी के नाम से मिल जाएगा, या लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिया गया है, यहाँ से आप ज़रूर इसे डाउनलोड कर लें। और हम लोग आगे सुनते हैं राहुल द्रविड़ को, कैसे वो इन सब गुणों को अपने अंदर धारण करते थे। और आई हैव अ वेरी 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 होपफुल विश दैट हम सभी लोग अपने किताब के साथ, अपने ज्ञान के साथ ऐसा पार्टनरशिप बनाएं कि हम अपने लक्ष्य को प्राप्त कर लें। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much. Aditya, you are better than me because, when I got out, I wish I had put my head down and smiled and walked away. That was not exactly my feelings when I got out first ball after traveling many miles to play a game after a long time. So congratulations to you, you are much better than me. And I think that's really ties in well to a lot of my emotions at the moment. A lot of times you're expected to come and speak at gatherings like this or functions like this, and you're asked to try and be an inspiration to people and try and inspire people. And honestly, I've just been blown away with what I've seen and what I've experienced today here. I think I've been inspired by, the amazing stories that I've seen, by the performances that I've seen on stage, by some of the stories that I've seen, the people, the children that have come on, and just to see what they've done, I think has been absolutely incredible. Congrats to everyone, Kiran and everyone at DFC for making all of this possible. I think it's actually given children the power. It's given them the opportunity to actually be the change that they want to see, as Mahatma Gandhi would say. And I think some of the stories that we're seeing are truly inspirational and have been inspirational for me. Just going back to, just maybe picking up from what Rahul spoke about, and I probably won't be able to do it in the way that Rahul did it, because obviously being a professional actor, he's expected to do it really well. I'll just try to maybe, try and take you back to a time when I was a moment that I truly believed that I can, and I can do something. I played 5 years of first-class cricket. I played pretty well at the under-19 level, and I got picked for Karnataka as a young 18-year-old boy. And I played 5 years of first-class cricket before finally making it into the Indian team. And I got into the team at 23, which, it is a touch-and-go age, because if you're not in the Indian team by the time you're 24, 25, especially in those days, you're considered pretty old, and you probably will never get picked again. So I was on the borderline case, and I had to sort of make it that particular year. And I was lucky enough to have a really good season, and I played for India went to tour England. And there wasn't really much of a chance that I would actually play the test match at Lord's. It was the second test. And it was only because Sanjay Manjrekar actually got injured in the morning of the test match that I actually got an opportunity to play. And I can never forget the occasion. I didn't expect to play, so I actually had a really good night's sleep before the test match, which is a bit of a rarity. I was walking up the steps at Lord's after I'd done, given other people practice and hit a few catches to the other players. When Azharuddin was walking down for the toss, said, Rahul Dravid, you're playing. Rahul, you're playing. And, it was incredible. My first reaction was panic and fear, really, that, and sort of that sense of, wow, I finally got an opportunity to play. And I knew that my sleep for the next 4 days was absolutely ruined. There was no way, and it was not like that village in Andhra Pradesh that Rahul was living in where, they had all this noise. I was staying in a lovely hotel in London, which was really quiet and peaceful. But there was no way that I was ever going to get any sleep after that. And I got an opportunity to bat at Lord's that day, a few days later, and I was, obviously, and I got to 95 in my first test innings. I missed out on 100. And I walked back. I walked back to the dressing room, and everyone was like, really disappointed for me. And a lot of the guys saying, bad luck, you missed out on 100. But actually, I was the happiest person in the world. I remember just sitting down and I had this grin on my face, thinking, wow, I can play Test cricket. I can succeed, and I can do this. So, I think that was a real life-changing moment for me, even though I'd got out on 95. A lot of today, I think, and a lot of the stories today, for me are about passion. And the passion in young people to be the change, to do something really different. I'd just like to share another story of someone I've had the privilege of playing with and getting to know over the last couple of years, who for me, I think signifies passion on a cricket field. And no, I mean, a lot of times people come here and expect me to talk about, Tendulkar and Lakshman and Ganguly and Kumble's, and they're all great cricketers, and I've played with a lot of them, and they all, had some amazing qualities. But the story that I like to tell is about Praveen Tambe. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of him over the last couple of years at the IPL. And Praveen, was a budding sort of leg spinner as a 20-year-old. And he played 20 years of cricket in the Maidans in Mumbai, never getting an opportunity to actually represent Mumbai at any level. No first-class level, no junior level, nothing. Praveen Tambe didn't get a single opportunity to play any game. But he kept bowling. He kept playing in every single game. And that's really, really hard. Believe me, when you have to go and play in some of the grounds in the Maidans and do it constantly, day in, day out, year after year, year after year, it gets extremely hard. It gets really difficult. And you need to have a different kind of drive to be able to do that. But Praveen did that. And a couple of years ago, we were looking for a leg spinner. We were looking for a leg spinner to play in the Rajasthan Royals team. And Praveen came to our nets. Praveen came to our nets. And, I heard one of the younger guys actually say, who's this uncle who's come to our nets? And Praveen was 41 years old at that stage. He was 41 years old. And we decided to pick Praveen Tambe in our squad. I got a call the next day from our CEO saying, what are you doing? You've picked a 41-year-old guy. Are you crazy? I mean, we're the Rajasthan Royals. We're supposed to promote young players. And I said, no, I mean, there's something in this guy that me and the other coaches had seen, that we believed in. And for the whole IPL, for the next year and a bit, actually Praveen didn't get an opportunity to play in the team. Now, what was really fascinating for me was Praveen's attitude in that year and a half that he actually sat out and didn't get an opportunity to play in the 11. He spent all his time speaking to other players in the team. He would always go up to someone like a Brad Hodge or a Shane Watson or come up to someone like me and talk about his bowling. He spent hours and hours practicing. He would be the first to take the cricket ball at 41, the last to leave it. He would be at every single practice session, whether it was optional or not. He was there every single day. He was there at every single gym training session. Like Rahul said, he even tried to attempt the bleep test. Not with much success, but he attempted it. And when he finally got the opportunity to play in the Champions League and became a great success, and then had another amazing year in the IPL, I think for me it was a phenomenal story. And when he won his first Man of the Match award, he actually came back into the dressing room and he was weeping. He was truly crying. And for me, that is passion. I mean, you hear about great stories and great people, but play 20 years without no recognition, to just keep playing in, in gully cricket, in Maidan cricket, to still have the desire and the hunger to keep doing it again and again, to have the attitude to come into an environment that gives you the opportunity to learn and grow and improve, and to grab it with both hands as a 41-year-old was, I think, a great lesson of passion to so many of the young players who are 18, 19, 20, 21 in our team, looking out to make a career. And I think that for me was, probably one of the greatest lessons in. And I think that's, it's such a recurrent theme in what we've seen Rahul say, I've seen Rahul do in Ruhana and what she does, in the performances that we've seen, that, I think if you have a passion for something, and if you do something that you truly love and enjoy, and I've been lucky in the sense that I was able to make what was a real passion for me, my career. It became my profession for so many years. And I think that is really important. If you can find out what your passion is and pursue it. I know that's not always easy, and it sometimes takes a lot of courage to be able to do that, because there are always easier options at times. You can always be tempted to do the simple thing. You can always be tempted to go on a path that is traveled by most. To take a path that is less traveled takes a lot of courage. Probably takes a lot of patience as well. As we've seen in someone like Praveen Tambe, it took him, his success wasn't overnight. A lot of people said, oh, that's overnight success. That's 25 years of success. Taken 25 years to work hard, starting as a 15-year-old to actually, become a success. So it's going to take a lot of time. It's probably going to take a lot of patience, a lot of sacrifice as well. A sacrifice of time, of spending so much time doing what you're doing. A sacrifice sometimes of making a sacrifice of a financial sacrifice. A lot of times when you pursue your passion, it might not necessarily be a passion that gives you the financial security that you hope for and you probably crave for. But if you want to make a difference, as we've seen so many of these kids do, and you see the kind of difference that they are making, I think you need to follow your passion and follow it in whatever you do. And I think that's the great thing about what I think a lot of the DFC has taught, what I'm sure will teach a lot of these young kids. When they see what they have created and see what they've done, it's come through sheer passion of really enjoying what they do. And I hope that they will be able to pass on this message, as I'm sure their stories will, that if you really want to pursue something and you're really passionate about it, that's what you should look to pursue, because they'll never have to work another day in your life. Okay. Just like to thank everyone, thank Kiran for having me here. I mean, the energy has been incredible. It's been an amazing vibe, like I've said, and I've really loved it, and I really enjoyed being part of it. When I went to the school for the first time in May, I went to the school in December. You could just see the kind of infectious energy that Kiran has, and you could see, and you can just see why she's, I think, been able to create something like this. So thanks, Kiran. Thanks for having me here, and it's been a real inspiration. Thank you.
Before you can leave, we must have a rapid fire round with you. So, do you have another rapid fire?
Does it work? Yeah. Okay. I hope the questions will be a lot easier than you asked Rahul, man. That was a hard, tough. I mean, you guys. Oh, okay. Hello? Yeah, mine's working.
Hello.
What makes you vulnerable or scared?
What makes me
Vulnerable, yeah.
vulnerable or scared? What makes me vulnerable or scared? Can I say my wife?
You absolutely can.
No, she doesn't. I would always wake up with this, I would wake up at the start in the night sometimes, with the nightmare of thinking that I'd forgotten how to bat. And I would just, you get up at the start in the middle of the night with this bad dream, thinking that I've forgotten how to bat. And then you sort of realize, oh, okay, it was a dream. But sometimes when you went out the next day and actually batted and batted, you actually thought maybe it wasn't a dream. I have really forgotten.
Now, what's something that you know you do differently than other people?
I do differently than
Yes.
other people. God, these guys are tough, man. This Riverside school is just... So what do I do differently from other people? I know. I'm trying to think of one thing that I do unique, and I'm just, it's sad. I just don't do anything that's unique. It's really sad.
Okay.
A lot of people bad.
I must ask, the development of IPL or cricket, what do you think is better for the game, Test cricket?
What's better for the game? I don't think we have to choose between the two of them. I think both of them have their place in cricket. I love Test cricket because I thought Test cricket was, as in terms of personal satisfaction, I always thought of Test cricket as it really tested your sort of character, courage, and skill. Because there's no place to hide in Test cricket. You can't hide in Test cricket. You can't, if you're not a good player of fast bowling, you can't quietly bat at number 6, play the spinners and get away with it. You have to have all your skills intact to be able to play Test cricket. But I think the IPL is great for the game. Like I said, I mean, just to mention a story like Praveen Tambe, you would never ever see things like that. To see a young 18-year-old like Sanju Samson play in the IPL, that's opportunity, that's talent, that's recognition. So I think, both forms of the game can coexist and must try and coexist.
Okay, now, say there's a bonfire happening in front of you with a lot of burning books. What's the one book you would save?
What's the one book I would save of a bonfire? One book that really inspired me as a young kid was Jonathan Livingston Seagull, Richard Bach. And I got given this book by a coach of mine. And he said, as a sort of 16, 17-year-old, and he said, read this. And it sort of immediately clicked with me, and I could sort of identify and associate with it. So it was one book, and I would like to pass on, and hopefully my kids will want to read and not get bored by me giving them stuff and giving them gyan. But it would be that book, and I hope that it resonates with them.
Now, finally, how would you not want to be remembered?
I would hate to be remembered as, the only thing I would hate to be remembered as, I would hate to actually, for people to only remember me for actually having declared when Sachin scored 194. Like, if you were to go with the media over the last 2 weeks, that's all I've done, I think.
Now we have one audience question.
So, Vignesh has asked, we all know that India has a huge potential as a country. Don't you think sports has become a rich man's game and has become inaccessible to poor? How do we change this and bring inclusion?
I think it's actually changing. Who's that? Vignesh. I think it is actually changing, and that is the change that I'm seeing in sport. That more and more you're now finding that if you look at a lot of the Indian cricketers and you look at the great stories in other sport as well, whether it's a Mary Kom, whether it's Saina Nehwal, or whether it's Sarita Devi, or whether it's some of our runners, I think a lot of the people are coming from smaller towns, from smaller cities, from sort of economically, I'd say, poorer backgrounds, so to speak. Because I think sport is becoming a lot more inclusive, because facilities are improving, because of the money that's there in professional sport now. You're seeing talent, you're seeing infrastructure being developed in smaller places, which is giving more and more people an opportunity to be able to play. The biggest challenge I see, and I think that's the next set of challenges, is how do we, and I think Rahul mentioned a little bit about diet and nutrition, is how do we give sort of people from slightly economically poor backgrounds the necessary physical skills to be able to compete at a national and an international level, because the facilities are improving. And how do we then give them the next level of help that they need to be able to actually compete at that level with the more advantages from the boys and girls coming from the more advantageous parts of society?
A question that Riverside wanted to ask you is that, say a movie was being made about you, what actor would you like to play you?
What actor would I like to play me? Say Rahul Bose.